Here's a story I never thought I'd be writing, but life has a funny way of throwing you curveballs when you least expect it. I've been married to Rachel for 5 years. We met in what some would call the perfect way. She came from a polished, well-educated family, and I was the scrappy barefoot kid who found his way into IT. And yeah, maybe I wasn't the kind of guy her parents had in mind for her, but we made it work. At least, I thought we did. Things were good in the beginning, no complaints. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but we always bounced back. Sex? That was never an issue, at least I was sure of that. I thought I had her fully satisfied in that department, you know? Even when she rolled her eyes about my laid-back upbringing or how I never quite fit into her pristine little world, I figured we were solid. Hell, I even convinced myself we had this unspoken understanding. She could gripe about my quirks all day long, but when it came to us, we were tight. But lately, I'd been noticing a shift. She was more distant, less interested in hanging out with me, but hey, everyone gets stressed, right? I brushed it off, like an idiot, thinking it was just a phase. Little did I know, I was walking straight into the perfect storm. So, here's where things start getting real. Like I mentioned, every Thursday, I had to head out of town for work. IT stuff, nothing glamorous. I'd leave early in the morning, stay the night in the next city, and then come back Friday morning with a day off to relax. It was routine, something we both got used to, and I didn't think twice about it. That is until a friend of mine, Jason, told me he saw Rachel out with some guy one of those Thursdays when I was away. At first, I laughed it off. I mean, Jason's a jokester, and we all know how paranoid we can get in relationships if we let our imaginations run wild. But something about the way he said it, like it wasn't a joke, gnawed at me. So, I decided to do what any self-respecting, slightly paranoid husband would do. I installed cameras in the house. Discreet ones, of course. I told myself it was just for peace of mind. I wasn't actually expecting to catch anything. Hell, I even felt guilty setting them up. Fast forward to the next Thursday, I'm in my hotel room, casually checking the camera feed, not really expecting to see anything. And there she was. Rachel. In our bedroom. With some random asshole. They were going at it like full throttle. I don't even know what hit me harder, the fact that she was cheating or the fact that she was having sex with him just as passionately as she ever did with me. All those times I thought I was her guy, her number one? Yeah, turns out I was just another stop on her little thrill ride. I sat there, numb, staring at the screen, watching the woman I thought I knew better than anyone just fucking someone else. In our bed. I knew right then and there our marriage was over, but I wasn't going to just walk away quietly. No, I had plans. Plans that would leave a mark on both of them. So, the next Thursday rolls around, and this time, I'm ready. I told my boss I needed the day off, made up some excuse about not feeling well. What I really planned to do was wait for Rachel and her lover to show up, thinking they had the place to themselves, just like last time. Sure enough, as soon as I'm gone, she brings him over. I'm watching it all unfold on my phone. There they are, waltzing into our house, laughing, touching each other like I never existed. It was sickening, but I held it together because I had something special planned for them. I let them get into it, full-on sex, just like last time, no shame. And while they're going at it, I sneak into the house. Silent. Calm. Not even angry anymore, just focused. I grab a knife from the kitchen and head straight for his car parked out front. 4 tires, slashed. The driver's side window, smashed. Then, I take a can of bright red paint I'd prepped earlier and dump it all over the driver's seat. But I wasn't done. I walk upstairs, right into the bedroom while they're in the middle of it. I don't say a word. Just calmly start collecting all of his clothes from the floor. Shirt, pants, shoes, even his underwear. They stop, obviously, and he freaks out, trying to cover himself while Rachel screams, "What the hell are you doing?" I ignore her. I just walk out of the room, clothes in hand, and head straight outside. Dumped his clothes into the trash. Then I pulled out my phone and started filming. Yeah, I was filming when he ran outside, but naked, searching for his stuff like a scared little animal. But there was nothing. His car was wrecked, and his clothes were gone. I got it all on video, him running around like an idiot, then panicking when he tried to sit in his car, naked, covered in paint. He had nowhere to go. Tires were flat. He was stuck. Then, Rachel comes flying out in a robe, screaming at me like I'm the one who's lost it. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she kept yelling, but I didn't care. I didn't say a word. I just walked back inside, locked the door, and left them both standing outside, completely humiliated. After locking them out, I stood there in the living room, leaning against the door, just breathing. I wasn't sure if I wanted to laugh or cry. My heart was pounding like I'd just run a marathon, but at the same time, there was this weird sense of calm. I'd done it. I'd completely flipped the script on them. But then, as I stood there listening to Rachel banging on the door, screaming to be let in, it hit me like a truck. This was real. My wife, the woman I'd shared my life with for 5 years, had been screwing around behind my back. And now, there was no going back. It was over. I slumped down on the floor, my back against the door. For the first time since I found out, I felt the weight of it all. The betrayal, the lies, the nights I spent working hard to provide for us while she was sneaking around with this random guy. And the worst part? I had no idea how long it had been going on. Was this a one-time thing? Had she been cheating the whole time? That's when the sadness crept in. I wasn't sad for her. No, screw that. But I was sad for the version of me who believed in her. The me who thought we were happy, who thought I was enough. Turns out, I was just some placeholder while she got her thrills with someone else. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. My mind was replaying every moment of our relationship, every lie she must have told, every excuse she made when she stayed late at work or was too tired for us to be intimate. How many times had she lied straight to my face? It was this weird mix of anger, sadness, and even relief. I was devastated, yeah, but also glad that I finally knew the truth. Now I could be free. But first, I had to deal with the fallout, and trust me, I wasn't done yet. By the next morning, after a night of no sleep and pacing the house, I knew what I had to do. There was no fixing this. No way in hell was I staying married to someone who could do that to me in our own house, in our own bed. I had made up my mind. I was filing for divorce. But before I cut the cord, I had one last card to play. I spent the morning digging around online and managed to track down the contact information for Brad's wife. Yeah, turns out the guy screwing Rachel was married too. Perfect, right? I couldn't wait to drop that little bomb. I waited until I was back home that afternoon, sitting in the house I was about to burn to the ground, metaphorically speaking. I sent Brad's wife a simple message. Just the video. No words, no explanation. Just a video of her husband running out of my house, naked, covered in paint, and looking like the world's biggest idiot. Then I turned my attention back to Rachel. She had been staying at a hotel after I kicked them out the night before, sending me these long, rambling texts about how she could explain everything and that it wasn't what it looked like. Right. Sure. I ignored every single one of them. Instead, I took all of her stuff, everything she left behind, and tossed it out the bedroom window. Clothes, shoes, jewelry, the whole 9 yards. It rained down onto the lawn like confetti at a parade. By the time Rachel showed up, her things were scattered all over the yard, and I was just standing there, watching. She screamed and cried, begging me to let her in, but I didn't say a word. I just stood there, calm, finally feeling like I had control of the situation. She kept going, trying to explain, but it was all lies. I didn't mean for this to happen. It was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. But none of it mattered. I'd made my decision, and there was no going back. The marriage was dead. She could cry all she wanted. It wasn't going to change a damn thing. The more Rachel begged and screamed outside, the quieter I got. I didn't need to argue with her anymore. She'd done enough damage, and at this point, I wasn't looking for explanations. I wasn't even looking for revenge. I just wanted her gone. But, you know how people are, they don't like losing control, and Rachel? She was losing it. She finally stopped shouting long enough to bang on the door one last time. I opened it, just to see what she would say. Big mistake. She rushed in, still in that damn robe, looking like a mess, with makeup smeared down her cheeks from crying. "Please, just let me explain," she blurted out. "It wasn't like that with Brad. We got carried away. I swear I didn't mean for it to happen. You know I love you, right? We can work through this." I just stared at her. Love. Was she seriously pulling the love card after I literally watched her screw another guy in our bed? The same guy whose wife was probably watching that lovely little video of him right about now. "You don't love me, Rachel. You love yourself," I finally said, calm as ever. "You wouldn't have done this if you loved me." She kept trying to justify it, throwing out excuses about how I'd been too distant lately or how she felt lonely because of my work trips. Typical cheater nonsense, blaming me for her own choices. But here's the kicker. Rachel wasn't just trying to save face. No, she wanted to flip the whole thing, like somehow I was responsible for her spreading her legs for Brad. The sheer nerve. I almost laughed, but instead, I let her finish her little performance. "I'd heard enough. You need to leave," I said, pointing to the door. "And don't bother coming back. I've already filed for divorce." Her face dropped. All the color drained from her cheeks as if she hadn't seen this coming. She tried to plead some more, but it was pointless. I wasn't changing my mind. I escorted her outside, watching as she gathered her things from the yard, still trying to apologize, still spinning her lies. But for the first time in a long time, her words didn't mean a thing to me. Once Rachel was gone, a strange emptiness settled over me. You'd think I'd feel victorious after kicking her out, but instead, I just felt hollow. This wasn't just the end of a marriage, it was the end of the person I thought I was. I had trusted her, believed in us, and now everything we built was shattered. The house was too quiet, and the silence felt heavier than her screaming had ever been. I walked through the rooms, looking at everything differently, like I was seeing it all for the first time. The photos of us, the memories we'd made, they all seemed fake now. They were just remnants of a life that never really existed. I won't lie, it hurt. But you can tell yourself that you're better off, that you're the one in control, but betrayal like that sticks with you. I'd lie awake at night, replaying every moment, wondering when it all went wrong. How long had she been lying? How many times had she made me feel like a fool? But the hardest part wasn't the anger or the sadness, it was the humiliation. Knowing that Rachel had been so blatant about her affair, parading Brad around in our home like I didn't matter. It made me feel like I was nothing to her, and that stung more than I expected. At the same time, though, there was a certain freedom in it. The truth was out, and I no longer had to live in the illusion that our marriage could be saved. I didn't have to put up with her lies anymore, her excuses, her manipulation. The hardest part was over. I was free to move forward. I knew the divorce would be messy. Rachel wasn't the type to let go easily, and I braced myself for what was coming. But no matter what, I'd made my choice, and I wasn't going to back down. I was done being the fool. It was time to take my life back. A few weeks after Rachel left, the divorce papers were finalized. It was quicker than I expected, probably because she realized there was no point in dragging it out. She didn't try to fight it much in the end. Maybe she knew I was done, or maybe she was too embarrassed by everything that went down. Either way, I was officially free. Once it was over, I took a long, hard look at myself. The betrayal left scars, no doubt, but in a weird way, it also gave me clarity. I had spent so much time trying to mold myself into someone that fit her world, acting like I had to be a certain way to keep her happy. But all along, it was never about me. She was always looking for something else, something I could never give her. What I learned through all of this is that you can't control someone's actions, no matter how hard you try to be the perfect partner. People will do what they want, and sometimes, they'll hurt you in ways you never saw coming. And when they do, the best thing you can do is cut your losses and move on. It wasn't easy, but letting go of Rachel was the best decision I've ever made. Sure, there are moments when the anger creeps back, when I think about what she did and how she thought she could get away with it. But those moments pass, and now I feel a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. I even met someone new. Someone who actually respects me, who doesn't play mind games or lie through her teeth. And I've realized that relationships aren't supposed to be a battlefield, where you're constantly fighting to feel secure. It's supposed to be a partnership, built on trust. Something Rachel never gave me. So, if there's one thing I could tell anyone going through something similar, it's this: don't be afraid to walk away. Don't let fear of the unknown keep you stuck in a relationship that's only dragging you down. Because once you break free, once you stop tolerating the lies and the betrayal, you'll find that life can be so much better. And trust me, it gets better. Thank you.